Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Alright, let's see what we got for you today. We got a nice example 143 scale Citroen Xantia. Beautiful mid-size French car, very nicely made. Now, talking about the Citroen Xantia, this model came by Citroën. It was actually produced between 1992 and 2002. Now, this car was actually also produced by Iran. I mean, they had their own model. They copied the Citroën Xantia, but if I'm not mistaken, it had a different name, different brand name, which they copied the model from. And also in China, I have seen videos of other models from Citroën that were actually also made in China. If you remember the Citroen ZX, in China they had a sedan version of the CX, Z and Zebra X, which was quite unusual. I never seen it before. Actually, I never seen one in person on the sedan version, but they have one. It was quite popular as a cab in China back in the 90s and the 2000s. But talking about this one right here, this is a beautiful car made by Norev. Like I said before, 143 scale. Now, this color option, I find it gorgeous. I love how all this black molding give it a nice contrast from the color of the car. This Citroen Xantia is the first generation. Before they did a little facelift. Basically, they only changed the grille. I remember the grille was different from the first generation Citroen Xantia, but that was the only difference for what I remember. The other thing they also had was a station wagon version. They had brake, like they call them in Europe, in France. It was a Citroen Xantia brake, which it was basically the same looks. It's just an extended cabin, but it was very similar. But it was this car when it came out with it brought I think it was called the Activa suspension, which it was a suspension that would auto lift the car. It was very modern. Before Citroen came with that, if you don't forget, back in the days with the DS, IS model, Citroen always had this very modern technology for their time. They always been very modern. They quite calmed down for a few decades in the 80s, but when it came back in the 90s with this model, it opened up a new doors again with their suspension. And I always liked that about Citroen. They always had that, let's bring something that other brands may not have, or if they have, they probably cost 3 or 4 times the amount of this car, like the big expensive brands, which I liked it. I seen these cars in person and they're awesomely gorgeous. This model for an 90s car is very modern, very futuristic. I like this front forward face, pointy. It gives it a mean modern look, and especially when it came out in the 90s, it looked gorgeous. It was very attractive. A lot of people found them very attractive. And I guess they were quite reliable because I still see them on the streets. And I always say when other countries come out with the model, or they try to buy out the model for their own market, like in Iran or China, it's because it's a quite reliable car. Otherwise, they wouldn't pull up. They would not try to pull up the model that you came out with to sell them their own market with their own brand. So you gotta remember those things. So that means it's a reliable car. Looking at the car, it's a French license plate. I see the F there. Nice wheels, exactly how they looked in real life. It's just it's a hatchback sedan look, more like a hatchback. I remember Citroens for a reason that I never knew why. They never been fond of the sedans, like a real sedan with a big trunk. Older sedans look more like a big hatchback, or you know what I mean, like this one. This is a perfect example. This is not really a trunk because when this lift, also the back window goes with it, so it's like more like a hatchback type. But I don't really know why. If you know yourself why Citroen didn't really make a real sedan for a long time, I would appreciate to hear the stories. All right, let it go around so you can have a nice look at the car and appreciate it. Alright, everyone. So, again, like I always say in most of my videos, hopefully you guys are doing great. Hopefully, right now you're already subscribed and you're following me. I would love to hear your stories. I would love to hear your collections. What you guys are into. What size. What models. You know, if you have a specific option or you collect all models. Like me. You see, I post every brand out there that I have, I post. French cars, German, Chinese. Well, I don't have many Chinese cars. I wish I did more, but I haven't seen many of them. But Japanese. I have a few Korean cars. What else? British, Spanish, American, obviously. And even the models that came up in South America, like the Brazilian Chevrolets or the Volkswagens, you know, because I like everything. Like I always say in my videos, I have an appreciation eye for all the models out there. All right, everyone, stay safe, and I'll see you on my next video. Take care. Goodbye.